Yeah, just building a water tank for my old Hilux. This is rough measurements there, and well, I did a lot of looking around under the ute before I decided on those measurements. So this is the sheet metal shears. Got the base part marked out. So I've got an old 1200 folder over there. Yeah, it's a pretty old-fashioned way of making the box, but this is the two sides going up here, and I'm going to fold these over 10 mil on each end, and then I'll put ends in and knock them over. Just bending the 10 mil. Okay, so I've bent those over and hammered that edge over onto that bit of hoop iron. And the next thing I'll do is put the bends in to the two sides. Okay, there. So this is the ends. They've got three sides turned up, and this is going to fit up inside of there, where I've bent those ends down, like so. It fits in there. So what I'm going to do is put this up on this piece of old railway line, and put that in there, and then hammer them over. Okay, so I've got that inside of there, and now I'll bend these over with the hammer, pin the two sides, and then knock the bottom over. So what I've done is I just get it to 45 degrees, and then go along with some multis and just make sure that that's tucked in all the way along there. The next thing I do is hammer it all down. Right, so I've got that hammered down along here. Now I've left these two side ones because the ends there are not even, but they'll pull up around when this corner here is quite round. What I have to do is put this on like that, and then just hammer this around here, and that should push that back down even. Okay, so the ends are back flush again, and the corner is hammered around reasonably square now. So now I can hammer the two sides down. That's got that one done. So I just got to do the other end. Okay, so I've made this bracket here that goes behind here to strengthen this up. Back nut goes on there. This other back nut goes on here. This will be the small one will be the breather, and this one here will be the filler valve, filler pipe. Rightio, I've got this. This goes on here. I've got this all set up ready for these brass all threads. So I'll just take the shine off this. So Sikaflex will stick better. I've done all the corners in here. Just with a quick wipe with a sandpaper. And, it's pretty good Sikaflex anyway. I wouldn't use anything, I wouldn't use silicone. Okay, now, the thing is with these rivets, to make it waterproof, you've got to make sure you get the silicone over the holes. black Sikaflex. Yeah, this stuff's called brass all thread. So you just cut it off wherever whatever length you need it. So that does up against in there. You've got to remember to leave enough room to get your multis in here when you want to do this up onto this thread. So make sure you leave a bit of a space between here and here. So you've got to be able to hold that while you do that up. So this is Sikaflex 221, which is meant to be safe for potable water. Yeah, back in the old days we would have soldered all this stuff. But, yeah, I haven't done any soldering for a long time. Don't even know if I can still buy some solder. Yeah, I've drilled all these holes along here. This, the top's going to sit on these angles. And I'm going to pop rivet on this on here with some stainless steel rivets. And so the important thing to do is when you're pop riveting rivets is to make sure you get that Sikaflex right over those holes. Because yeah, they'll leak otherwise. Okay, so I've just got the top made up, a couple of breaks in here to keep it flat. I've got this big clamp on here to keep it square, and I've drilled a pipe rivet hole in each corner just to make sure it doesn't move. I've also vacuumed inside, got it super clean inside, so I've vacuumed it all. But once I've drilled all these, I'll vacuum it all again, and then I'll drill it every 2 inches, every 50 mil all the way around, and then I'll put Sikaflex on the bottom and on both sides, and put it together. Just paying particular attention to getting the Sikaflex right over these holes. I'll do the same with the lid. So all the rivets are in. Just got to go over these rivets. These rivets want it sealed. The water will just go straight through those holes in the middle of the rivets. Yeah, normally, if you can, you'll seal the rivets from the inside if you're doing something. Well, you can get it the inside, but I have to seal these from the outside. But they're on the top, so they won't be under a lot of pressure. Now I just got to wait for it to dry. And, got to put the water level gauge in and start thinking about how to make some brackets to hold it up under the ute. This is the water level gauge I got. Got it half the price that they were on eBay. Got it straight from China. It was half the price. It took about 2 weeks to get here. Yeah, I made up these are going to go up underneath the tray, and that's what I'm going to bolt it up to, and I'm going to put some glue some insertion rubber on there, and got these brackets from Bunnings, and can't see bloody. So I welded a tacked a nut on the top, and so those pieces will bolt up underneath that. And yeah, I had to take the mud guard off, and they sort of fit got this one done on this side. fit in there like that, so I can bolt them there and then bolt the other bit on the other side. So now the machine's going to be drilling those holes. Okay, so I'm just about ready to bolt it up to the car. I've got a couple of terminals on those wires ready. Got some fittings on the filler and the breather ready. These lock nuts are going to go on the ends of these threads here. And so this piece here bolts up to the truck under the tray, and this piece here clamps the water tank up, and yeah, I've got insertion rubber glued on these, and yeah, this is going to be the filler. So I've just got to find a place to bolt that onto the ute, bolt it up and connect up the plumbing. Yeah, I did a couple of 100 k's in my truck, and had checked the water tank. It was full, and there was a bit of movement in these brackets I got from Bunnings, so I've pulled the whole thing out and strengthened them up with these, welded these angles on the back of them. Yeah, I'm about to do a 15,000 k trip, so I didn't really want to have this in the back of my mind, that was sort of had a little bit of movement in it. I've also strengthened up these brackets here so that there's no chance of them bending either. So now I've just got to put it all back in again. Bit of a mission. There's a bit of a mission putting this filler thing in as well. Getting the right angles for the brackets, and then trying to get those hoses hooked up down in there. Luckily my neighbour was here at the time and helped me push that on. Got to get a couple of stainless steel zip ties to hold that there. Anyway, job's done.